Record. Hello, my name is Dylan Bowman, and my presentation is going to be on the water cycle. What is the water cycle? It's a process that connects all of the water in the world. It can be joined in many areas across the earth, mainly the oceans, but it could also be in land and the atmosphere. The cycle began about 3.8 billion years ago when rain first fell, creating the oceans that we still have to this day, the Atlantic and the Pacific and all the other ones. There's four stages to the water cycle: precipitation, collection, evaporation, and condensation. All four of these stages have distinct factors to the cycle, which bring it together as a whole. In this image here, you can see the stages in use and what they do. Precipitation. This is the first step of the water cycle. It's formed within the clouds when water vapor is condensed into larger droplets. Once these droplets are large enough, it will cause precipitation from the sky. It can come in many ways, most commonly in our area, at least rain. It can also become snow, sleet, hail. Any form of water that comes from the sky is known as precipitation, and it's what kicks off the water cycle as a whole. No matter what, in all these forms of precipitation, it's going to be from fresh water. No matter if it's water from the ocean, it'll be fresh since when the water from the ocean's evaporated, the salt in the water does not come up with the precipitates. Once the water goes up, it's not contaminated, but it's able to become contaminated from pollutants in the air before falling to the ground. If it does become contaminated before it hits the ground, this is considered acid rain. This tends to happen more in power plant areas, and it's not common in areas like our town here. The next step of the water cycle is collection. Once precipitation has come to a stop, there's many ways collection can occur throughout all different areas of the world. Sometimes, if it's just in your backyard, collection can come from the earth and into the ground or the soil. There's also something called runoff that occurs when water is coming down. It could be when water is coming down a mountain. It can go into a lake or an ocean. The precipitation can also go into sewers on the side of the road. That's also known as collection. Any type of water going into another system is known as collection. Like I said, it mostly happens in the ocean, when the ocean covers 70% of the earth, and it contains over 96% of their total water supply on the earth, which is why this is such a important step in the water cycle. The next step is evaporation. This occurs after collection, and it takes, in turn, longer to take the water away. The concept of this cycle is when the state of matter is changing from a liquid to a vaporous gas. The gas that water is evaporating into is known as water vapor, and this step is in many ways much needed for the cycle. In this image, this is what evaporation looks like. Normally, we see it every day. Evaporation, it could be seen normally on a hot summer day. The more heat that is built up, the quicker evaporation will occur. This is why if you're looking outside on a hot day, we can tend to see water vapor rising from the surface. This step's also important in our oceans and the atmosphere. Evaporation accounts for over 90% of the moisture within the atmosphere, which is what keeps it moist. It also helps with fresh water production. When producing water vapor from the ocean, it takes the salt out of the water. This allows it to condense into the clouds and not produce acid rain, like I previously said. Condensation. This is the next and last step of the water cycle, and it's the part where vapor turns back into a liquid water. This can happen either inside or outside. One of the most vital parts of the water cycle due to all it is able to do. This image that I've shown here is an example condensation when you see these little water particles on the side of either your car window, it could be, or even your home window. The types of condensation. This can matter no matter if it's hot or cold outside. If it is cooled and condensation is created, that's called a dew point. This is seen when it's damp outside in the early morning. Or condensation can also occur when there's lots of humidity forming. This usually what happens after a rainy day on a hot day outside when you walk out and it's soaking wet still. The two main keys are dew point and saturation for condensation. Dew point is the temperature at which condensation starts to occur. The temperature can fall below this anytime, or it can also stay above it. This can also produce water droplets on the side of your bottle of liquid. Once warm air hits the cold surface, it condenses, and that's when it reaches its dew point. Saturation. This occurs as more water vapor is being collected in the clouds. Once the clouds are fully saturated with water vapor, it condenses and becomes rain. Saturation also causes humidity since the warmer environments hold water vapor than cold ones. Condensation forming clouds. There's 5 major steps that cause this. First, the warm air starts to rise after evaporation. Next, this warm air causes humidity to increase on the surface. Once humidity reaches a certain point, the air becomes more saturated due to that. Then water vapor condenses all the small particles together, and millions of liquid water droplets collect together and form a cloud. Lastly, this is why the water cycle is important. One major reason is due to the ecosystems all across the world. It also regulates weather patterns, and most importantly, it continuously is circulating water. Thank you for listening to my speech.